All right, there we go. And the fade of the noise. Hello, everyone, and let's change this back. Actually, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Leftovers podcast. And welcome to left. Sorry, I had a little feedback in my mic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Leftovers podcast. Tonight, we are joined with Jack with Dungeon Club. Uh, Jack is going to. Oh, see, Nathan. Nathan is going to. Nathan, do we sound okay? I know you can't help it if we don't, but but Jack's going to give us some insight into his world, for lack of better words. Matt, our co-host, you got anything you want to start off with?
So just a quick procedural note, a little bit different than we normally do. We're gonna the mid show break. We're gonna have Nathan and Matt Orr, our guest GM for Top Secret, on. Very exciting. We're doing the Norse Foundry dice giveaway. So we'll have that at around 9:30, and I'll reserve my PowerPoint slides for later.
Yes, Matt will kill you by PowerPoint, um, which is dangerous. So, Mister Panic, as we shall call you. Um,
Works for me.
so we were talking initially before you guys got on about a few topics. We'll probably revisit, guys. But Jack's going to get on here and tell us. What I usually open up with is what drew you to TTRPG game. What game system? What got you into it, and what led you to where you are now? How you got there?
Yeah, I've been gaming for. I hate doing that calculation. You know what I mean? It's like you instantly like, oh man, I'm significantly older. For about 15, 16 years, maybe longer now.
To be 15 or 16 years.
Closer to 20. I started, I think the first game I ever played was Pathfinder 1.
Okay.
And then I think my GM at the time was awesome dude. He ran a custom White Wolf sci-fi game, and then we did Star Wars D6, like the original Star Wars system, which is still one of my favorite systems. Just so many dice, hundreds and hundreds of D6, just throwing them.
It turned into a Warhammer game.
Yeah, exactly. But you're it's to use your wrench. It's like 500. And then I've been playing. I've played 5e for almost exclusively for like almost a decade. I never played in any kind of online community. I always played with people that I convinced to play with me. And so I was kind of insulated. And it wasn't really until the pandemic I started doing a professional. I run games professionally on Start Playing.
Wow.
And I started doing that. Got out of my bartending job. I was a bartender for years and years. And I started doing that, and then I got on TikTok, and I just started like learning about the space. And then I bought Into the Odd in Mörkborg, and it was all done for me then. After that, so now.
So what you're telling me is you took the Pathfinder gateway drug, and it led you down the road to being a professional game master.
I took the Pathfinder gateway drug, and by means of like I crashed out on it, and I ran as far away from Pathfinder as I possibly could. No thanks to the Pathfinder community, but you already have to pay me to play 5th edition, and I'd have to double my rate to play 3.5 again. It's a different world, man. I can't do it anymore. But I there will always be a part of me that wants to cleave, wants to hit again and roll to hit, and I love trad games for sure.
Yeah, I never played. I don't know if any of our group, I don't know how many of us ever played Pathfinder 1 first edition. I never did.
I think I played it once.
Did you? Yeah. We recently as a group about 3 years ago started playing Pathfinder 2 at our yearly retreat, and I like Pathfinder 2. I can definitely see where sort of Paizo took Pathfinder 1 created Starfinder. Starfinder was good but imperfect, and then they sort of modified that with where you get Pathfinder 2 is a little. I actually like the 3-action economy, kind of clean.
I think it's
everything.
great. Yeah.
Not slow actions, fast actions. It's just right. And I've heard that that's for where they're going with this. The Starfinder 2. They're basically adopting. So it's nice to see that they're growing. I did hear from folks that the big complaint I'd hear about Pathfinder 1 is that at low levels it was pretty playable, but once you got high levels, there were just so many, like you talked about. What was it? The big one was people who would trip. It was like the trip attack, right? It was like it just became very uncumbersome to run because people had so many special abilities and so many things they could do. But taking a turn from that, Mork Borg.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Easy.
Wow.
Well, Merc Borg is one of those games. It's like it's perfect to play with. It's maybe not a great introduction to like the OSR lineage, but it is a great game to hook people who maybe are on the fence about spending their evening doing that kind of stuff. I used to run it at a bar down the street from me. There's actually a Dungeon Club. Dungeon Club was like a thing. Like I did streaming, and it was like an in-person thing that we did. And we'd run Merc Borg, and that's a perfect, like, 'cause it's kind of just a beer and pretzels kind of game, I would print up the pre-generated character sheets.
Yeah.
They'd come in, I do a black ink permanent marker sketch of their characters. They tell me what they look like, and then whenever they die, I take their character sheet out of their hand, I rip it dramatically, and in the bar with all this stuff going on, it was very fun. But
that does sound perfect, like the perfect environment for that.
But it was I was honestly Into the Odd was probably the first game that was like, I didn't realize how I had been game designing for a decade for 5th edition, because I've never been super satisfied with the stuff that they made for 5th edition. And it was kind of after I started reading, other smaller games, NSR games and the like, that I was like, maybe the thing I actually really liked about 5th edition was the fact that it forced me to design to make it work. So it wasn't like it wasn't a bug for me. It was a feature. But once I kind of got into the world, I mostly make unless it's for my game specifically, I try to make system agnostic toys and tools, and like things that can almost like even work as like mini games on their own, so that they still have mechanics, but they don't rely on the base mechanics of any given system to utilize. So you can kind of fit them in wherever you'd like, I guess.
So you started playing, and then when did you know, like, you were playing role playing, and then you say you professionally run. When did you start creating, and when did you know that was going to be more than just a hobby? Like when you're like, hey, I'm good at this. I'm gonna like.
It was TikTok. I was on TikTok for a while doing talking head videos and like GM advice, and I had a couple videos that did okay, but I made an infographic of a reaction table. I think it was like it was basically just from Mork Borg. It was just the idea of like, man, if you add reaction roles to any game, any trad game, it just makes it more interesting. And because I didn't have a pedigree that involved a bunch of older editions of D&D, it was literally just, I played 4th edition as well, but that's, it's a different beast altogether. But I love 4th edition. But
yeah, 4th edition gets too much hate.
It gets too much hate. It's people say they hate 4th edition, and then they praise Lancer, and they don't know how silly that is. But I got to the place where I was like, I did a post. It went kind of viral, and then as kind of a writing exercise, I made a game called Instant Dungeon. I was making like little scenarios for Instant Dungeon. It was like, I made one based on the Lighthouse, the movie, with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe.
Oh wow!
Made like little scenarios that you could run, and I do one for the Green Knight. And then I made a system, a little D6 system. Right now, actually, if you go to itch, it's number 3, I think, in physical games. It got this week. I don't know. It's been out for like a year and a half, 2 years, and this week for some reason it popped up there. But I did that. I did a one sheet, and that got really big on TikTok. It blew up. And it was just kind of interesting because I don't think a lot of people were doing any kind of like, there was tons of TTRPG stuff on TikTok, but not any like, nobody was like publishing on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like tons of people like doing their experiences, but no one was like, here's some stuff. And then for about 6 or 7 months, maybe longer, my wife can attest to it, I treated creating graphics for TikTok like it was something that was paying me money. And I'd put out 6 or 7 a week, sometimes more. And then I basically just got into the routine of just like doing the creative writing all the time. And before you knew it, I made a couple games, and yeah. And right now I'm in the middle of production on 2 Mothership games that we had a couple of successful Kickstarters for, Kickstarter and backer kit. And I'm working on a project just got announced for CBR plus PNK augmented. It's the Blades in the Dark cyberpunk game.
Okay.
This guy right here. They're doing a secondary Kickstarter, and I'm doing a pamphlet for that. And then I have another thing that's secret. We haven't announced it yet, so I can't. I'm doing some layout work for those things, which is super fun.
Well, it seems like you have plenty of ideas going on there, and so you said you run professionally run games as your other hustle, basically, for lack of better words.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty. I mean, how does that work? I got to ask you. You just went out there and said, "Did you go on a street corner into a D20 and said, hey guys,
you want some dice?"
Yeah.
No, well, I run my games through startplaying.com or startplaying.games.
Okay.
I think is the actual. It's one of those things that if you have the proclivity to try to figure it out, I think that everyone should throw their hat in it. There really is no like skill level. This is my personal opinion, but there's no. I don't like the term professional GM because that implies a certain level of mastery. When in fact what it is I'm a paid GM, and the what I do for my games is just make sure that I'm in a really good communicative state with the people I'm playing with, so that everybody's expectations for the game are being matched. So it is a little bit more of, it's very similar to how I run games anyways, but yeah, I just post a game up there and get people. And most of my games I have people that they'll play. That I played with one of my groups. We've been running a game for 2 years now. So,
so a long campaign.
These people are my friends, and it's not unlike Patreon is a good way to think of it. It's
okay.
These people want to play my game, and we I'm very upfront about what it costs and what I do, and how much effort I put into it, and they know they're supporting me. They know that like it's feeding my kid and stuff. So.
Yeah. It does more than that.
Pretty wholesome, actually.
Well, it enables you to put some of this, we were. Oh God damn it! I screwed it up. Sorry. Here it goes. It made you to create some of this cool stuff here. So what I'd like to say is I do like the cover art for all these because it's all very retro.
I do all of it.
Relics remastered with the sword through them. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That Relics is every single post I made on TikTok for a year and a half. In one that's like 200 page.
Oh wow, that's
volume.
Cool.
They're all done in full graphic layout. I do the writing. I do the graphics. There's a few my newer ones. I've got some cool stock art from for as far as like illustrations go. Some artists on Itch that just graciously put a bunch of great art in like $10 packages that you can.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I've been recently going through all my stuff and like adding black and white printer versions and text only options, because they are like, if you try to print any of this stuff, it will destroy your printer. So it's all black with black paper with white.
Right. It's funny. We had the Free League guy on, and like their new Alien books, they're going to white pages for that same reason.
Yes,
they were like, we love the black page, but it kills everyone's printer.
Oh man, those are slick looking too.
Yeah. The paid GM thing, it's interesting. Like some places that's like, I don't know. I'm always surprised that people have time to be upset about anything, but there seems to be a divided opinion on it. I've paid to play. I was traveling in New York one year, and I went, I looked it up, found a place. I played with strangers. I had a great time. They did a great job. That particular place, they literally wrote a manual that combines customer service and D&D rules, and they have like a training program for, like, they actually pay their GMs. It's a little bit different than and for our, during the pandemic, we used it was one of the traditional homeschool places that we don't do, but during the pandemic, for our little, at the time, were much younger kids too, and they had it wasn't D&D, but it was another game for young kids, but a role-playing game, and that went great too. It was easy, it was easy to schedule. It was a safe environment. So that's the plus I've heard, is that when people are paying to play, there's a little more investment than all the horror stories I hear about how hard it is to schedule people, or people flaking out. That you get a more dedicated, interested group of people who want to be there, So I think 100%. That's great. I'm very envious. I've joked about, I couldn't do like a paid GM, not because, again, for more reason. When I run for my friends in a personal setting, it's like a super stressful environment. Like, I don't think I could. That's just me. Like, even when I'm having friends come over to the house, I'm going to run. I like that hour before people come over, I'm like a disaster, right?
Oh well, so, I mean, yeah, I still get super nervous before I run, even though it's and there is a certain expectation. I saw somebody ask that the games are per seat per week, and so it is. Typically anywhere from $20 to $30, depending on the type of game. Basically, the less players I put in the game, the more I make each seat cost. Because I think there's a real benefit there. I mean, the more screen time, the more screen time you get. So the more players. In these days, I don't like running games with 6 people anymore. So the games are normally right now like $30.
I mean, what's the problem with that?
I ran work with 10. But
God,
yeah, it was PvP. It was super fun.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. Short. It was elimination. People were getting knocked
short to the point. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, size of group is a big deal, right? Like, I noticed that it seems to have gotten smaller. Like, when I was young, it was the recommended was like 8 people, right? But I have found that like 4 or 5 is a much sweeter spot. That players aren't waiting, especially, well, depending on the system. Fast systems, it's not as bad. But if you have a very complex system where everyone's taking 5 to 10 minutes a turn, and you just went and missed, and you've got 40 minutes before they come back around to you, that is just that's not a great table to be in, unless you've got.
And that's the biggest problem with paid games, is that, like, at the end of the day, everybody's got money on the table, and I think there's more buy-in, because everyone's, all right, everybody, shut up, it's happening. I'm paying for this, and everybody's a little more respectful of like that time commitment. But I think that the biggest problem is like, oh, you paid $20 and you got to take 2 turns tonight. That's that's no good. That's no good at all. But yeah, so I think smaller tables. I also think that the big shift there is that when I started playing, and I can only assume, because when I started playing, I played with people. The people who taught me were taught by their older brothers, who were the first generation of gamers, and you'd play for hours. You'd play all night. You'd play sleepover style. It was meant to be a marathon activity. You maybe wouldn't even sit the whole time. You did get up, go do something else, come back to it, eat some pizza. And now people are playing. We have so limited time in our day-to-day lives now, and we're so connected. Like, we don't really get downtime when we go home. You're still expected to be online. You're still expected to return emails. So people have 2.5 hours, 3 hours to play. So a smaller group is just, I think, a necessity of that. Like,
yeah, I also think it's kind of like your sort of model of like these quick, smaller games, right? So it's kind of juxtaposed. We had some guests on a few months ago. It's a husband and wife. They've been working for 7 years to publish their RPG game. Right now, it's full book, full world setting, all this kind of stuff, right? And that's great. But like you said, there's clearly a market that those big campaigns can also be scary to players who might not feel that they can commit to a, year long of coming, but having quick to play, they've almost blurred the line or able to capture the folks that might sit down and play a game of Risk, right? Or
Yeah.
Monopoly. If you can sit down and play a three-hour Morkborg, adventure, or one of these one pagers, right? That's much more likely, like you said, at a bar, pull that out just like you would a board game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an interesting market that you've definitely tapped in on with this. It's very cool.
Thank you. I specifically am really interested in games that present themselves like the stuff I'm focused on right now. That my personal projects are almost all things that can be played in an evening, with minimal teaching or learning to do. Just because I think that there are lots of great experiences out for lengthy games. And I don't have the resources to, I only have so much time to make things anyway. So a one sheet makes a lot more sense. And also I can, I think that there's a lot to be said about really fantastic systems that do everything, like your GURPS or your Cortexes or whatever. I think that there is a lot of value in those systems. I mean, I got my copy of Smallville right here, so I'm a general system fan, but I do think that there is something that is to be said about really curated. Like, we are specifically doing this tonight. This game is about this. We won't be maybe getting a chance to flirt with the bartender at the tavern, but we will be doing this. And the buy-in, I think it's an easier buy-in. I'm at least interested in that. I mean, who knows how long I'll be bored of it.
It's interesting. I mean, there is a joy to that, what you described, I think, and a place for it, definitely. That definitely has its appeal.
Well, I think one of the hard things for people to wrap their heads around that aren't gamers is that every game that everyone's ever played in their life, someone won or it finished, right? And then someone comes to you and says, "Oh, no, D&D's the journey," and you're like, "What?" It's like,
oh yeah.
It's probably nice too that you've opened it up to folks who are more comfortable, who can sit down, and understand the idea that I'm going to start this game and in a few hours we're going to finish this game.
Yeah,
I mean, cool. You brought up Aliens. Alien kind of playing Alien, the cinematic adventures changed my brain chemistry. I was like, oh yeah, those cinematic adventures, those box sets, they're fantastic, man. They've got all the story beats just laid out, pick and choose like a buffet, which ones you want to use. You don't have to stick to the maps, and it's like you got your act breaks, and if you got people who are there to play, you can't get too much table talk or whatever, but you can get through an act in a night and do a whole one of those in 3 sessions. That's pretty.
No, I thought Aliens was very, like you said, there is that something about it was I never played it, so when we played it, I was like, holy moly, this is pre-gen characters too. But we made them our own and had fun, which sort of goes back to what you were talking about earlier.
So what, when you design the games, do you have a particular genre that you prefer? And do you use the same rule sets, or do you have a set of go-to rule sets, or is it all like the D6? Or I've seen some D6 one pages, some D4 one pages. Is there a set of go-to systems that you like to use in your design?
I am always taking mechanics from games I like and messing with them. So if I'm obsessed with a game currently, like when Eat the Reich came out, the vampire eating Hitler game, I got really obsessed. I got really obsessed with the Havoc engine, which is the D6 dice pool system. So I made one of my games, Psycho Killer, is a solo game, but it's most solo games are journaling games, and I wanted a game you could play by yourself that was still. I still love the feeling of a trad game, a game where you still get to feel like you're maybe cracking a skull or something.
Right.
I want that visceral. I do love a nice narrative game, but I do want it to get kind of pulled in and roll the hit and all that. So I'll do that, and then I have a couple different little systems. I'm normally just exploring a mechanical idea, and I'm building a game. These micro RPG specifically, I'm building a game to help me facilitate kind of wrapping my head around the thing I'm interested in.
So you bring up a good point with Eat the Reich. We played that recently, and halfway through our second session, I was like, wow, this is great for this, but the concept they came. I was also I'm a systems person, right? Like I like role playing, but I like the system to match the feel or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, this is great for this vampires eating, Nazi game. You could apply that system, I thought, to like a bank heist or anything where there's like sources of tension and then an amount of effort to overcome it, right? That could be a social, you could literally Eat the Reich and turn it into debate club, right? Like
100%.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying, right? When you get a good system, it's kind of fun to, I think it's cool, the idea of like trying to take it and use it in different ways. You mentioned, was it Into the Odd?
Yeah.
Are they the folks who do The Strange? Is it the same system? I don't know if it's.
Oh, everybody's starting to look at their shelves, see if they have it. Yeah.
Into the Odd is Chris McDowell. Yes. Chris McDowell and Johan Noor, who is doing the layout for the new Alien game, and Mirkorg.
Oh, okay.
This is an NSR game. It's a roll under D20 system where you have 3 stats. So Cairn, Mouse Ritter, Liminal Horror. There's a bunch of games that are built off of the bones of this baby.
Okay.
And it's a really great system because you have 3 stats. And your hit points are your stats. So if you take damage to
yours, right?
You have hit points, but they're not. Well, they hit protection, but and then you have inventory where you can carry things, but also store fatigue. So it's just it's a really stripped down version of like the resource management of older like trad games, and a very kind of a very quick and nuanced system. The successor to that, Electric Bastionland, is my favorite game.
Oh, okay. I haven't played that. Okay.
It's you know what? I've played it once. It's hard to get a copy of, and it's one of those games that I'm like, hey, you guys want to play this? And I'm like, well, are there goblins in it? I was like, there can be.
If you say Free League 3 times in a row, Free League.
Yeah,
that'll work.
Hey, I do show up. What do you know?
It worked.
Free League or Norse Foundry, either one will.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we're still waiting for Nathan's, but I don't want to get mad in because while you were talking about it, he was already holding up the game. You already had it before you pulled it out.
I have yet to play Into the Odd, but I've got it, and I'm waiting for it one of these days.
The GME of ICE in Into the Odd and Electric Bastionland is applicable to any game that and it's some of the best stuff. It really informed a lot of my opinions about how I want to make games, and not necessarily the games that I like to play, because I really like playing. I'll play any game. I'm even a game I'm not really, maybe isn't my vibe. I'll play it. There's always something to learn from playing a new game.
So you've mentioned, so you do GMing and you are creating. Do you have time to play at all, or have you sort of slipped? We have a few friends who have become forever GMs. And do you find yourself
I don't
trapped in that?
I don't really like to play characters.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well,
it's
I like the fact you stuck and you said, "Yeah, man, I run the game." So.
Maybe it's a control issue. It could be that I really like the rigidness of the interaction with people. That maybe my brain likes that. I do like playing characters when I get the opportunity. I'm always having fun, and I like playing, especially when someone's like, "Oh, I'm going to run this game you never played, or this or that." But I'm a decidedly, I prefer to run games.
Well, I'll tell you this: as a guy who likes to play the games, I appreciate you being there because you make it great for me. I tell you.
Well,
that's right. For those who like to play, we love it when people want to GM.
So now we have Nathan.
Oh, hey.
See, Nathan has joined us. So hello, everyone. And so what's going to happen now is we're going to take a brief break so we can do this Norse Foundry giveaway. And it's not the meth dice that I promised everybody. I'm sorry.
No. It's a $50 gift card for meth dice if you want to.
Doesn't get you a lot of meth
dice. I guess, Nathan, because you have the list, right?
Yeah.
So you and Matt just play off each other while we watch in awe.
play with each
That's
other.
a different
Hey,
show,
with each
Sean.
other.
Oh, shoot.
Different
That's
show.
on the only feet.
That's right.
Only
bad
feet.
bitch.
Only
The only
feet.
dads.
Of course, you want the meth dice, Frank. Of course.
Yeah, right.
Well, you could get the shattered glass dice, Frank. They're close enough to meth dice. Is what you're gonna get.
Let's see. Let's call this the prize wheel. So I've got the
You got to share the screen.
There we go.
He's got to close all his
Technology.
windows down.
Yeah, I got to
All
close
his,
all the.
all his only feet porn.
All those only food.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, it's I'm sharing it. So one of you admins have got a.
Okay, I got it.
Hey, there it is.
There it is. Sorry, Nathan. Go ahead.
All right. So we had an okay turnout for people who commented in chat, and if you're watching this and we call your name, then send us an email at theaarpgs@gmail.com, and we will make sure that.
Yeah, I have a code already for the gift card, so I'll get that to you so you can. send it on.
Yeah, and I'll totally won't forget to give it to the winner.
I mean, wait,
Not
what
at
gift
all.
card? I don't know what we're talking about. Code? What code? I don't know. I'm just kidding.
And the winner is.
It's Matt. We just don't know which Matt, but it's Matt.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, anybody want to give me a drum roll?
I feel like it's like the scene.
It's just like Matt's vibrator.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
Oh, we had a little lag.
Cymat.
Matt.
Simon.
So Cymat is an artist who lives in the UK, I believe. So I hope they have Norse Foundry in the UK.
I believe
Tariffs,
they-
man,
I-
tariffs.
I
Reverse
believe
tariffs.
I believe they do ship international.
Yeah. But Cymat does some Dragonbane stuff, so that's how we picked him up. He's a pretty cool guy. So congratulations, Cymat. I know how to get a hold of you. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah. I will
Yes,
stop sharing the
congratulations.
screen. There we go.
All right. Yes. Good. Excellent. Now we've
All
done
right.
that. I wanna
Yeah.
say-
So it's PowerPoint time. But actually,
Uh-huh.
I want to thank one more time. I want to thank Matt Orr for
Yes.
being guest GM and running us
Oh.
through the old school 1980s role playing game Top Secret. It was a lot of fun. I will miss Rico Suave.
Well, you never know. He could be back.
That's
You,
right.
you never know.
it could happen.
right.
You're right.
I've got the other two adventures that complete the trilogy of this one. So
Outstanding.
there you go.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
you gotta get your own meth dice, Frank.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yours.
buddy.
That's right.
All right.
All right. Well, so just want to talk about what's coming up. Oh, all right. Someone
All right.
stop hitting buttons, Sean.
Sorry, I was trying to take it off.
So this is the Luddite hour.
Yeah, this is Luddite hour.
You know, it's a
All right,
shame
so-
that it's a shame Nathan had to leave us.
Yeah, I know. Kick him out. Kick him out quick. No.
that's
So we got a lot of stuff coming up. So again, tonight, but next week we are continuing with our AARPG live series. We're going to be doing Mothership, tentatively calling it "Where's the Beef." That's just based on Nathan's description of the scenario. And then on the 29th, we have special guest Justin Mendoza from Roll D5. And later, in early June, we're going to have special guest Adept Icarus on. On the 10th of June, we'll be starting. Malcolm will be running Brindlewood Bay.
And that's
So
where you got to make a
old-
comment, Matt. There's
What?
people that want us to dress as old ladies.
Yeah.
I think that there should be blue hair and muumuus all around.
Hello!
It's gonna be a lot of
You-
Monty Python British.
Oh
You,
my
you
God.
have
it
to
is,
have,
yeah,
but your
pretty much
your
is.
gown has to be like super seat, like so worn through, like grandma's old worn through thing. All right. So Brindlewood Bay will be starting on 10 June. And then I'm pretty excited on the 12th of June. Just found out today that we're going to have Stephen Glicker. He's the sort of the person who started Roll for Combat, and the Dragon, the Battle Zoo Bestiary. So I've been listening to him. He's one of the first podcasts that I ever listened to, and I happened to run into him at PAX Unplugged this year in person, and looks like he's going to be on the show. So I'm super excited about that, and you get to meet someone who you've been listening to for a few years. That's what we got. We got a lot going on. We got a lot of people coming on the show. Also, I am not done, Sean.
You're taking too long. Go.
We're going to be releasing when, Nathan?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, our new episode of our Dragonbane adventure, A Reptile Dysfunction. Thank you, Nathan, for the wonderful title. And if you love the show and you love the characters and you want to support, head on over to our website where you can pick up our adequate merch with our amazing art from I guess it's from I can never remember his name.
Jody Schaefer.
Thank you, Tony Schaefer from Titmouse Animation. So go on there and grab any of our amazing Geek Chic and enjoy the adequate merch. All right,
Nice.
that's all right. There, Sean, I'm done. You can.
So
I have to rein him in, Matt. Or
Yeah, before I sign off,
I understand. He kind of just meanders. It's still Right.
Before I sign off, say Jack, thanks for popping in last minute. Sorry I couldn't join for the whole thing, but it's good to virtually meet you. So
Nice to actually meet you, Nathan.
yeah, big thanks. But love your stuff. It's just always showing up on TikTok. It's like, oh, this is just so cool, everything.
No,
I just like.
Okay, you're on the counter now, Nathan.
All right, I am done. But thanks. You don't have to be nice to these guys. You can cut them down.
And bye, Nathan.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
And I too will be taking off.
Yes.
Well, Matt,
All right,
great
Matt.
having you.
All right,
Take
guys.
care, man.
I'm
We'll see you
sure
soon.
We'll talk and we'll get stuff done.
Yeah, we got
All
more
right.
stuff to do in the future.
Yep.
Yes. Take care, my friend.
Yeah, you guys got to punch some Nazis and fight some old ones in October.
That's right.
Yeah, all right.
So there you go. All right. Talk to you later.
Peace.
All right.
Nice.
I had to kick Nathan. Sorry.
You know, this is your
He will be-
house. You do it. There you go. There you go. You do what you got to do, man.
Well, Nathan gets revenge because I used to cut him off all the time in the openings, remember? And then I stopped, and everybody else picked it up. It's horrible. We're horrible to him.
Yeah, Nathan. It
We're so
is
mean.
Nathan. It's Nathan's house. I don't know. So it was funny. Matt Orr graciously came on to be a guest GM, and the very first time we all got on, and Matt started talking, Nathan, like 2 seconds of him talking, Nathan goes, "Can I buy you a mic?" He's like, and he did. So Nathan
Got him a mic.
definitely, he's the one
Yeah,
to
there
keep
you
us
go.
all in line.
Oh,
So-
that's
Yeah,
right.
it is. So,
All
you,
right.
you always hurt the ones you love. That's the.
all right, now back into our guest,
Yes, yeah.
Jack
Sean,
here.
God.
Go ahead. Where were we? Hell, I forgot where we're at. We're on.
We were
Meth Dice?
talking about systems and how you decide which systems to use in the games you design.
Yes.
So you have a Patreon, right?
Yes, I
Correct.
do.
And so if folks are interested, what are the kind of as a patron, what are some of the kind of benefits? Services
You know,
provide?
honestly, I'm bad at the Patreon thing. The Patreon is just where I put stuff that is too small to be published on my itch.
Oh, okay.
So everything that's on my TikTok ends up on there. It is a place I do things special for my patrons, but I don't have like I need to get like deliverables and do things that are more. So it's a small group. It's mostly people who just want to support me. But for $6 you get like everything that I've
Nice.
made. And then my main point of entrance to my stuff is itch. So yeah, if you're my Patreon, I guess I just don't have it written down. But yeah, I'll send links to the games and like code. So you get all the stuff there too. But
So itch. I'll just where I'm going to show them all. So I'm
You're gonna show
not
'em.
familiar. It's so funny, Nathan. Like, so I don't have TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And itch. I'm not familiar. So it is a publishing environment.
it is a actually I believe it's a site that was made for indie video games. So it's
Oh, okay.
it is a site that hosts basically a giant catalog of indie video games, and then it became a place where I think the indie TTRPG scene kind of navigated to as a place
You're
to like
right.
host and distribute.
That is what it is for. Indie games. You're absolutely right.
And
Okay.
what's
And so
cool about
do
it
you
is-
find that's better than like, so I'm familiar with drive-through was it drive-through RPG,
yeah,
right?
Drive-through
So
RPG, yeah.
is itch a better platform for
I
what you're
think
doing?
they're different. I think they're different beasts. I think that Drive-through RPG is it's going to be great if you are making supplements specifically for systems that get a lot of like it's like the other side of like the DM's Guild stuff, right? It's like if I was making stuff and it was specifically for Warhammer Fantasy, then maybe that would be a good place for that. And if I know they do print on demand. I have an account there. I've just never put anything. Itch is good for you can do projects that are pretty small if you are into that. You don't a lot of these are like one pages. It does have like kind of a I don't know. I don't think it was a conscious decision. I think I just looked at the people in the space that I was interested in, and I kind of emulated smarter, better people than me.
Nice.
But the nice thing about theirs, I actually get to set up a page, so it's a little bit more like a homepage. The other side of that too is Itch operates on donations, so I get to set the rate at which they take out of my purchases. Which I think is it's just all my dealing with it's very like creative focused platform.
Right.
It's nice to be able to say, okay, well, you can have 20%, you can have 30%, you can have 5%. But yeah, that's
everybody gets a cut.
Honestly, I treat my itch like I would treat a web page. I have a website. I haven't updated it in like a year because it's just there's traffic on itch already, and they host the things. So
how much time do you have? So you put it toward the thing that gives you the most bang for the buck. I'm dumbing this down probably, but
that's fair.
If that's where you're at and that's where all your fans or everybody's coming to find your stuff, that's where I would go. And especially it sounds like to me with your unique. You're creating games besides, being going out there and running them for people. That would be where I would go. I mean, Patreon's nice. That seems to be more for content. Like people want to do special content, like after their show or something for guests. Because that's something we've discussed doing.
I did it because I had people be like, "Hey, it's kind of a pain in the ass to download on TikTok. If you want to download photos that are posted, you have to like long press." And then navigate. So if you've got 2 or 3 panels, so someone was like, "Hey, I'm not going to go through here. Can you put these on a Patreon or something?" So that because I've got there's like 300 posts or something on there. So there's a bunch of stuff.
Wow.
That's just kind of you pay once. You basically my thing is like you pay once, you can grab everything and you can leave and never pay me again. That's fine. It's.
Nathan would like for us to have some sort of like a Patreon or something like that. But I think we struggle with the same thing you kind of mentioned is the idea of having to create extra content, right? Or the pressure to create additional content than what you're already creating, to create that environment.
It's one of those things where it's like I'm putting time in this. I know you'll identify with, especially doing actual plays and podcasts, right? I'm going to put forth time and effort on a product that then I'm going to put behind a paywall in a space that's already hard to get eyes on things. I don't think so, Buster. That's much to the chagrin of the people around me. My whole process has been put everything out for free, because mostly I do need to like feed myself and like my kid and stuff. But I'm doing.
You could do the sustenance of the land and good folks of the people world.
I do need to make money, but I'm doing this stuff because to me it's community, and I get to like if I make things and I know people are playing with them, it makes me feel connected to them. It makes me feel I get joy from that. It makes me happy. So I having things behind a paywall. Yeah, I might get a couple extra bucks, but even then, it's like I only just recently started charging for a bunch of stuff that I used to be free because it's the summer and I'm not making as much money right now, and I just got to do it. And so my policy now is stuff on my itch, the smaller projects, not the stuff that's kickstarted or stuff I'm doing for other companies or like things that are bigger, but if it's a 10-page RPG, I'm putting it out for free. get as many people can grab it as soon as they can, and then maybe after I put another 2-3 games out, I will put it behind a paywall.
So
people.
It's also a good strategy to get your content out there, right? Because I'm not sure, I'm not in the publishing or anything, but I would assume that it's good to have it out there so that people see it. Because you're right. I guess it's good when you have this idea of having some of these other publishers come to you. You get noticed, they come to you, they want you to work on supplements, right? Work for them, do work for their projects. I think it's a good idea to have a body of work that's available,
like a portfolio.
to create right.
Yeah. Well, if I may add, something we talked about was the Patreon, right? I did mention, like Matt, we all talked. What we're doing now was supposed to be part of a Patreon. Actually, that was one of the discussions about having this show on a Patreon. They were like, "No, it's freaking ridiculous because nobody will ever see it." So we went out and did it, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the comments. I enjoy our fans. I'm not Jimmy Kimmel. I'm not Steve Colbert or anybody. Any great famous Arsenio Hall or anybody who's a great interviewer.
Right.
But it's fun to have people on and talk about stuff because everybody brings something unique.
Right. I think
you're the first person that's ever talked about this.
If we'd put this behind a paywall, I don't think people would have gotten. I don't think a fraction of people would have seen our guests or got to see we really want people to discover each other. This is for the large part, I think it's a pretty good space. Every space has its exceptions, right? But I think the TTRPG space is a pretty good space. There's a lot of creative people, and I think for us it's been, we want to share other people's stories and experiences, as broadly as possible. So
I think you should probably still get a Patreon, just because you can set it up for free. So people can join for free. The nice thing about the Patreon is having a place to blast, email blasts, or like all the people who are invested and do care about your content, you can easily reach them. That's maybe the best part of it. So I don't know. Maybe you can keep things free and still use
it's evolving,
tools,
right? It is kind of.
We're never going to be
right.
It's always going to change. You know what I mean? None of us. The truth is that nobody knows what they're doing out in the world. We're all just kind of making it up and getting more comfortable in our own skin and saying that, oh, actually. And the only way you learn is by doing, and by not doing it well. You don't
know where it's going to lead. You don't know where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
Right. And let's say you want to be famous. I was looked at this YouTuber's some other guys actually got millions of followers now. And he goes, I had 80 videos in before I had something that actually did decently. And then something just got him over the hump, and suddenly he was making money, and he just kept doing it. But he was just doing it to do it, and then something.
The grind will get you there more than not doing it. I mean, if you don't do it, you'll never get there. And if you have, at the end of the day, if you can get 10 people that are interested in what you have to say, and if what you're interested in is talking about the thing and being in this, for me, it was I'm lucky that I'm getting a chance to turn all of my games into things that are opportunities for me to, pay rent. But it is one of these situations where the main reason I made my stuff free to begin with was not because I had some sort of brilliant strategy for working this out. It was just kind of trusting my gut and saying I want people to play with the stuff I've made. And if I if I charge $10 for it or more, if I charge what I think it's probably worth, just because I put the games out for free does not mean I think that they have no value. You know what I mean? Right. So if I wanted to charge $30 for a PDF, which I would feel justified for, some people will pay that. But am I getting the other side of that joy, which is getting people to enjoy my stuff and play the games and share the ideas? And so much of my content is stuff that you could put in any game. So it's always fun to hear people go, oh, that gave me some good inspiration. That's the thing I like the most about TikTok. It's not really a great platform, and it's real bad now, but none of my stuff is anything on there. But at one point I was getting, I'd post a graphic, a couple panels, I'd get 500,000 views or something, and now I get
Wow.
500 or whatever. But the nice thing about it is that it is an active. It's kind of like right now, you got people in the comments here. You're getting a
Right.
chat. It's as close to like the YouTube force, not like stuff you're active with. And it's nice to be able to like talk to people. Oh, hey, I enjoy this. I use this. This inspired me. I've used a lot of your stuff. Thank you very much. That stuff fills my tank up just as much as somebody going over to my link and grabbing all 9 of my PDFs for the low price of $10 for my Summer Days Madness sale.
Nice.
I just plugged myself.
There you go. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Perfect.
it has been a weird. I wonder if so for us, it's been an interesting communications environment, right? So things like Twitter/X, right? That's very much dried up for us.
Yeah.
And although we're on Blue Sky, it just doesn't seem to be, at least for me, it hasn't quite been as vibrant as if I think of like when we first came on board, Twitter was a pretty vibrant space for the team. We met most of the people that we know or we knew within our first year or so was on Twitter, and that's largely kind of gone away. And so it's been a little tougher to communicate, and our strategies changed too. Like our podcast was our flagship product, but now I think it's YouTube. And I think that's just because there's been a shift to video from audio only. And
I mean, most of the podcasts I watch now, non-TTRPG podcasts, like comedy podcasts, whatever, they all do. You watch their shows on YouTube,
right?
They're not
right. Video is
you still grab them on Spotify, but
Oh yeah,
and even
You're
Spotify
right.
now. When we started a second stream for our live stuff for like these episodes on Spotify, and so far I've kept it mostly to just audio. But Spotify even a few months ago said, "Hey, do you want to upload a video instead?" So yeah, it's the market never stays the same, right? I don't know what drives it. I don't know why it changes, but so
loose.
I guess right.
Loosey-goosey. Roll with punches and.
It's always fluctuating, and then the and then the algorithm playing and all that stuff, which we talked about. We've talked about ad nauseum about those little things about to try and boost your signal.
Right.
It's really funny, and I mean, that even applies to when applying for jobs, like having a brand on LinkedIn and all this. There's a whole strategy to that. So I won't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
but
that's all Greek to me, man.
Yeah, no.
I'm not on LinkedIn or anything.
Yeah, well,
my dad's good at LinkedIn. He tells me about it all the time. So,
yeah, I understand the concept behind it, but yeah, I don't think. So I don't want to miss out. So, if folks were to head over to Itch, what would be like what are some of your favorite products that you think that people, if they were discovering your products, what would be a couple that they should definitely start out with?
Well, I've got a couple games that are straight up free. My most recent games are some of the stuff. Some of the best things I've ever made, and they're free right now. I have I just published a little Safecracker mini game. It's a one-page dice game that you could insert to any system to create a moment of tension when it comes to the moment of the heist where you're having to pick the lock.
Okay.
And it basically treats the patrolling of the guards as the time you have to get to you as a currency you can spend to continue to flip the dice. And then if you have lock picking or like whatever, you have little things on your character sheet that make it that help you. Those things give you more time to fiddle with the dice to open it. So you can play that game by itself. You can just play it, or you could put it in the game. Deep Space Void Truckers is it's maybe the biggest game I've ever made, other than my the Mothership modules that I'm working on right now. The biggest thing I've published, and it is a game where you are a rough and tumble, over the top, like the Stallone movie, over the top deep space trucker, and you are taking your payload from one side of the galaxy to the other. It plays a little bit like a board game. It has co-op mode and a PvP mode where you can kind of race each other. And then the Dungeon plus Dragon right there. DNGN plus DRGN, Dungeon plus Dragon. That is actually my proof of concept for my own custom dice engine. All my games have custom engines, but they're normally fiddly off of other systems. The Dungeon engine, as I call it. This is you can play as a one shot or short campaign. It is a dungeon crawler that it fits right in between where like story games and like trad games kind of meet. You're rolling dice every turn. You're adding modifiers, but you get to make up things like your class, and it's kind of a big and bonkers. It switches from real fast pace to boss fight mode, and you have two skills. You have the skill Dungeon. You have the skill Dragon. Dungeon helps you deal with your environment. Dragon helps you deal with things inside the dungeon that are alive. And
Gotcha.
the dice scale up and down based on how many bonuses you have, and then every time you take damage, your dice loses a step. So you have a D8, becomes a D6, becomes a D4 until you have nothing. So it's a real simple system, but I think it's got a lot of like interesting gameplay complexity. Like while you're playing, you can get kind of funky with it. And then those are my free ones. Oh, Quantum Nobodies is a one sheet. It's a game where like you are nobody. You have no dice, no skills, and then you die, and then you quantum leap back in time to the last embarrassing moment you had, and you gain a skill that would help circumvent the way you just died. And the game is about dying and coming back with, and because it's like a quantum flux, they can be big and weird. You can get superpowers. You could acquire maybe the easiest way to avoid detection is to own the building. So you come back and you're a millionaire, and and you get dice based on that. And you roll those dice for your successes. Psycho Killer I talked about earlier. That's a solo game as well. It's an action game where you're fighting your way up a hotel, kind of Die Hard style. It's like Die Hard, John Wick, The Leftovers, and the Song by the Talking Heads are the
Right.
Oh wow!
Like,
you fight your way up through a very weird, like each floor is like a different thing. Oh, we're in a jungle now. Oh, we're in a warehouse. Oh, there are these things trying to kill me in this like liminal space.
That sounds cool.
The Gas Station is actually one of my most popular games. It is a system agnostic setting. It's an adventure site. It's a gas station in the middle of nowhere at 3:00 in the morning. I ran the one video I have on my YouTube channel is me running it with liminal horror. But that game also has my modern version of Instant Dungeon. And honestly, if someone wanted to hop in here, like I said earlier, I'm doing a sale right now. All of my paid games, all 9 of them, are all there for $10. It's like
nice.
$63 value for $10. You get every game, and some of this stuff, like Relics Remastered, Reliquaries, is just like magic items that could be put in any game. Some of these things, like Relics, has 200 pages, so not everything I have is tiny. But most of my games are. But I mean, if you had to download one of these things, I'd say Dungeon plus Dragon. I think that game is that's a me in a nutshell kind of game. It's cheeky, Obviously, I named my game Dungeon and Dragon.
Right.
The world's greatest. What did I call it? The world's best fantasy role playing game. Something like that. The world's even better fantasy role playing game. I think that there's something in there for everybody. They got the full illustrations. They're vibe soaked. Just a bunch of vibes in a trench coat, basically. It's my whole.
Very cool. All right, you guys heard it. Sale. Get over to Dungeon Club on Itch, right?
Yep.
On
I think you've been putting the links up, right, Sean?
right there. I think that sounded.
And also, you've got what's that? He's got the one where it's like you can get all the links at once, right?
That's right. At dungeonclub.itch.io. My Blue Sky is my itch page as well. You can set them up.
Awesome.
So they're the same.
Yep. And then there's that Dungeon Club at itch.io and Blue Sky Club there.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, it's good. You're pretty insightful, and I like some of your comments about how you basically on your journey about how you started running professionally and why you create games. I think that's pretty wow. Oh, somebody Tombstone's going to get some of that now.
There you go.
There you go. You made a sale.
Thanks,
He
Frank.
had an idea for making one based on Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. That's super
Thanks,
fun.
Jack. And Nathan says, thanks, Jack. You'll never get your revenge, Nathan.
Well, I appreciate
Anyway.
you guys having me on. This was super fun.
Yeah,
It's always fun to
No,
talk
it's
games,
cool.
and nice to meet you guys.
No, it's pretty.
And in the future, I know right now what you're working on is secret. But maybe down the road, if it becomes public knowledge, reach out to us, let us know if you want to come back on. Maybe, like I said, we're playing around with format. Sometimes, so far, every guest has been on for about an hour. But I think in the future, especially as we start getting repeat guests, we've been asking people, "Hey, you got something to update? Come back. We don't need a whole hour to tell us."
Yeah.
But
We'll come back.
come on and let us know what you're working on, and we can get you on the show. We're glad to have you.
Love to.
I
Thanks
think
so
this.
much, guys.
I think this format is really cool. These sort of like small, short. There's a lot of, and not all your products, but these like quick play. And there's definitely been, I've seen a real rise in the idea of solo, right? Solo
Yeah, that
role
one game
playing.
was-
Yeah,
solo.
yeah.
And
It's
so
an
there's
interesting.
this-
It's an interesting place. The solo games. So
It is. It
Heard that
is.
before,
But
too,
I
yeah.
think it goes back to what you said. I think it's time, right? People don't have a lot of free time, but they still
Yeah.
want to play. And
they want to get away from
so, yeah.
screens. I think that's maybe the solo game appeals that you're stepping away from it. Oh, I've got another solo game coming out pretty soon. You're a
Oh,
taxi
cool.
driver in hell. So that's
Oh, nice.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's called Hell Taxi, so it's pretty on
Nice.
the nose. But yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you.
Well,
This is really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
everybody, we wish you the best. Good night, and take care of yourselves.
We will see you next week for Mothership.
Yeah, Mothership and another Grand Slam interview. All right.
That's right.
Good night.